It is time to welcome in Michael Snyder. He is the Culture Blaster. He comes in every week. This is when you know Friday really kicks into gear. He's got movie reviews for us, sometimes talks a little streaming, maybe a little sports, some pop culture, some fun things to do. He comes and goes on a rainbow. It's Michael Snyder, everybody. Hi.
Hi, Kim. Always a pleasure to communicate with you and our wonderful, wonderful audience. And hope Mark is enjoying his time away. But I'm happy to be here with you. You know, I want to start things off by reclaiming the word weird from the weasels in the GOP. I mean, being weird has always been a badge of honor for me and my arty friends. I mean, consider the unofficial motto of a certain flagrantly progressive city, keep Portland weird, you know.
Right, exactly.
I mean, certain Republicans have the gall to try and act weird and wear the tag when they're actually just cruel, repressive jerks. And I'm not having it. I am proud to be a weirdo and an American. And in closing, I want to say, be truly weird, friends. Vote blue. Okay, I got that.
But
I
think there's good weird and bad weird. You're good weird, Michael Snyder.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And speaking of weirdness, let's get to the first movie on the docket for review. Did we need another installment in the Alien science fiction franchise? Did we?
Look at that. Ew.
I know. It kicked off so powerfully and chillingly in 1979 with Ridley Scott's spaceship as haunted house monster movie, Alien. And that was followed by James Cameron's equally scary and maybe even better 1986 sequel, Aliens. The films that followed were a mixed bag of sequels, prequels, and even a couple team-ups with another terror from outer space, The Predator. And a few were standouts, a couple not so great. As is evident, though, and we've talked about this before, Hollywood likes to monetize the tried and the true. So the ongoing success of these movies over a stretch of so many decades, we're talking 4 decades of Aliens movies, this is assured more projects. And of course, they feature artist H.R. Geiger's beautifully designed, quick-moving, near-invulnerable extraterrestrial killing machine and its rapidly multiplying spawn. So here comes Alien Romulus, following 2017's pretty well-made prequel, Alien Covenant. And this one is pretty dang good as these things go. Like most of the movies in the series, it's impacted by the heedless greed of a future corporation that wants to research and profit off of the xenobiology of the alien creatures, despite the extreme danger they present to humanity. Oh, we don't care about that. If we can make some money, sure, a few lives lost, that's cool.
Oh.
It's collateral damage. Anyway.
That's believable, though, right?
Exactly. So, speaking of exploitation, Alien Romulus is set on a harsh mining planet controlled by your typical soulless corporate entity that mistreats its workers. A handful of these slaves to the system are impoverished young adults that seek a better life elsewhere. But in order to travel the light years to a friendly colony where they can start anew, they need cryogenic chambers and fuel, which they try to scavenge from a massive, seemingly abandoned spacecraft high above the mining planet. And by the way, ticking clock, it's got a decaying orbit. So the would-be immigrants include Rain, who's an orphaned woman whose parents died due to the brutal conditions on the planet. Her adopted synthetic brother, Andy, a somewhat damaged android who is programmed to be protective of Rain, plus her friend Tyler, who came up with the escape plan, Tyler's sister, their cousin, and another friend. Little do any of them know about the experiments that were in progress on the derelict ship under the auspices of the bottom-line obsessed Weyland-Yutani Corporation, well known from previous Alien movies. Of course, there are callbacks to earlier films in the series, one in particular that's aided by the magic of digital wizardry. And with all these youthful, fresh faces, there's a bit of a Alien 90210 vibe, you know? I mean,
wow.
there's no grizzled space veterans running around on this thing. But the horror and the scares are what any fan of the series would expect. And there are a few curves thrown, all courtesy of a director and co-screenwriter Fede Alvarez, heretofore best known for his 2013 Evil Dead reboot and the 2016 home invasion movie Don't Breathe. So Alvarez acquits himself nicely, as does the cast, especially Kaylee Spaney, who I believe starred as Priscilla Presley in that recent docu-pic. She plays Rain, and David Johnson as the android Andy. And though there's nothing as shocking as what viewers experienced via the earlier Alien movies, and you have to just accept some of the pseudoscience mumbo-jumbo, there is plenty of monstrous action and splatter, with some interesting variations on previous set pieces in the franchise. I kind of watching this thing, and I wonder after a while if there was like a viscera wrangler who kept all the goo dripping properly. I don't know. But I just let the whole thing wash over me, so to speak. As these movies go, Alien Romulus is an effective fright machine that is in theaters.
I was reading that during the first Alien, the director splashed the actors with animal guts and blood, and they didn't know it was going to happen in order to get that surprise reaction. So gross.
I know. One of the interesting things about this creature and his or her spawn, there is an alien queen who's a major figure in one of these films, is that their blood is like acid, so it burns through things. So you blow up an alien, and its drippings burn a hole in your spaceship. So there's all kinds of treachery afoot. And
you got to be careful.
Yeah, for what these movies are, I thought this was really good for what they are. And I don't recommend that you see it, but I would bet you that our friend Nikki Maduro will be happy to dive in.
Absolutely. So for people that like this kind of movie, it's a yes.
Yeah. Here's something that might be more in your wheelhouse. Inspired by actual events, Skincare is a solid mix of mystery, thrills, and psychodrama that works in large part due to Elizabeth Banks in the lead role. Banks plays a longtime Hollywood esthetician and skincare queen named Hope Goldman, who is about to launch a high-end product line and finds a new skincare clinic opening up in the retail space right across from hers at the crossroads of the world on Sunset Boulevard in L.A. Oh, this kind of competition is kind of scary, particularly when your own business is not in the best of shape. So this newcomer starts to infringe on Hope's client list, and at the same time, her life is made even more stressful by unpleasant things such as having her email account hacked and misused, and seeing bogus, lurid online personal ads placed in her name. The rent is due. The pricey rollout of her skincare products is jeopardized. Could she be saved by a timely morning TV show interview touting her fancy proprietary face creams? Will the eager beaver life coach that she's just met help her through this crisis point? Can things get worse for her? The answer to that last question is probably. So Banks, as the beleaguered Hope, is so good embodying the character's stress, paranoia, and righteousness in the face of threats to her life and career. The fine supporting cast includes Luis Geraldo Mendez as Angel, the smug rival facialist, Louis Pullman as the life coach, Michaela Rodriguez as Hope's loyal assistant, and Nathan Fillion, that's right, star of various TV shows like Castle and Firefly. Yeah, he plays the morning TV talk show host whose interview may provide salvation for Hope. Skincare was co-written and directed by Austin Peters, who keeps the movie's various plates spinning. Even if the ultimate outcome results in some broken china, it's not really cleaned up. I'm not sure what really happened to inspire the movie, but it couldn't have been peach scrub and aloe. Do I recommend Skincare? I personally use a moisturizer, but as for the movie, I give it a conditional yes. I was caught up in Hope's plight. even if the story on screen ends without an epilogue that might have provided some degree of closure. It's in theaters. This is one of those movies that I think will play well at home, too.
Yes, because Dragon's Mane had asked if this is on Hallmark, but no, it's in movie theaters, right?
Oh, this is quite a few cuts above Hallmark.
Okay, all right.
And I mean that in the nicest way, Kim.
When you walked out of the theater, did you regret having seen it?
Not at all. I've regretted not moisturizing more.
You must.
You have to. Okay. Jackpot teams the comedic dynamo Aquafina and the hunky, self-deprecating John Cena, that's right, Peacemaker himself, as the odd couple you never asked for but are happy to get to an extent. They're co-stars in this satirical action comedy, which is directed by Paul Feig of Bridesmaids fame. So expectations are maybe unreasonably high. I don't know. The premise is a little bit of The Purge, a bit of The Running Man, and even a skosh of Battle Royale and The Hunger Games. In the very near future, California is in such dire economic shape that people embrace the so-called Grand Lottery in Los Angeles, wherein it's perfectly legal for anyone to kill the multi-billion-dollar winner of the lottery within the city limits, as long as no guns are used and the winner is killed before sundown on the day of the win.
Oh, wow.
If the winner survives, the money reverts to them. If the winner is killed, the killer gets the money. So Aquafina is Katie Kim, a down-on-her-luck actress who has just returned to L.A. after years away. In short order, she discovers, shockingly, she has the winning ticket, and she discovers it when everyone around her tries to murder her. With the exception of John Cena's character, Noel Cassidy, who is a professional bodyguard to lottery winners in exchange for a percentage of the winning, and offers his services to Katie. So cue the violent chases and the fight scenes, some of which are fun. The Aquafina-Cena chemistry is good. And Aquafina's Shang-Chi co-star Simu Liu joins the fray as the head of a well-moneyed security agency that also offers to help Katie survive the day, presumably at a price. But for all, Jackpot feels a bit half-baked, and it doesn't hit the heights of the best stuff the actors and director have done in the past. It does have its moments, so it's a good thing you can simply access it on Amazon Prime at home and tune out if it ain't for you. Jackpot on Amazon Prime Video.
What do you think? Is it worth it? It sounds, the way you describe it, it makes it sound really interesting.
It was fun, but again, not up to their best work. There's a lot of, the talent of the cast and the director won't necessarily assure a great movie, as we've seen with Borderlands and to a lesser extent, The Instigators. I think a lot of it is in the script. And there are moments and some funny ones too, but it just gets to be just a lot of clatter at some point.
Yeah. All right. That's too bad because I like the way you described it, but oh well.
Well, yeah, I mean, the premise, the concept is intriguing, but it just, again, feels a little half-baked.
Yeah,
maybe it needed to be in the oven a little longer. I don't know. Okay, so let's wrap up the movie segment here with The Union. Now, The Union is not a heated drama about labor's struggle with management. Instead, it's a middling international espionage thriller about a special ops unit called The Union. And it teams another odd couple, maybe as odd as Aquafina and John Cena. You get working-class lunk Mark Wahlberg as a Jersey City construction worker named Mike McKenna, and the elegant Halle Berry as a sophisticated secret agent, Roxanne Hall, who is Mike's high school sweetheart, but she left New Jersey and became, I don't know, like Jane Bond. So apparently there's a MacGuffin out there and all the information on intelligence services worldwide is available in some device, and it's going to be put up for bid, and everybody is rushing to try to get their hands on this thing. There's auctions and shoot 'em ups and car chases, and some of them are fun and some of them are, business as usual. And there's an interesting supporting cast besides those guys too. I mean, the boss of the union is played by J.K. Simmons, always reliable. That isn't all. Mike Coulter, known to some as Luke Cage from the Marvel TV show, and also as the demon-fighting priest on the TV show Evil, he plays another union agent. Plus, you get, Jackie Earl Haley as kind of the Q, the tech expert of the union, and so on and so forth. But it just seems it didn't knock me out. Let's put it that way. I was diverted by it. It's not, again, boy, it's ridiculous to have to say this. It's not terrible. It's just not memorable. And I will point out that it is in theaters and it is on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, you can just click on it and watch it. And, I didn't feel like gouging my eyes out while I was watching it. I mean, I would say these movies were in descending order of quality in my book.
It's too bad because you've got Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry, and you would think those two in a movie that's kind of action-packed would be really good.
I never bought them as a couple. Not for 1 second. By the way, I don't want to, let's say early in the movie, but the Mark Wahlberg character is sleeping with the woman who was his 8th grade teacher. She's she's kind of milfy. Come on, the guy's in his, he's 40 and she's like in her, mid 50s or whatever. But she's played by Dana Delaney of China Beach, who is still quite an attractive woman. And so you kind of buy it. And Lorraine Bracco, of all people, plays Mike McKenna's mother. Remember her from The Sopranos? And what?
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
She's a terrific actress. And, the clock ticks for all of us. But interesting supporting work there. Again, I mean, J.K. Simmons, Mike Coulter. I mean, this is a good cast, but you kind of never buy the premise that Mike and Roxanne are a legitimate couple, and you really don't see sparks fly between the two characters.
Maybe worth it if it's on Netflix. If it's streaming, then maybe I'm more likely to. And you have some other streaming options for us as well.
Well, I do want to mention the fact that my guilty pleasure, Emily in Paris, is back for season 4. If you ever wanted to see Phil Collins' daughter, Lily Collins, cosplaying as Audrey Hepburn in Funny Face, that's 4 seasons of Emily in Paris.
Yep.
The earnest but kind of clueless American girl pursuing a career at an ad agency in Paris, and obviously caught between 2 lovers, the handsome French chef and the slick British businessman, and dealing with an abusive boss and all that. And there's all this great French pop and all of these shot in Paris and environs, even down on the Riviera. Photography, the settings are all lovely. And I don't know. I watch it and I tolerate its, more mediocre moments because it's cute.
I'm in.
Also, I do want to point out I've watched only the first 2 episodes, so I can't really expound that much on it. But Carl Hiaasen is a great novelist, and his Bad Monkey has been adapted by some of the people that had a lot to do with Ted Lasso. And it stars no less than Vince Vaughn as a detective who has kind of devolved into inspecting restaurants in southern Florida. Carl Hiaasen, his stuff is generally set in Florida. And there is an ugly murder case that turns up, and our lead character, played by Mr. Vaughn, ends up being caught up in this thing. And so, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. What can I tell you?
Bad
I mean,
Monkey.
while I'm waiting for Apple to deliver on the next season of Slow Horses, I'm already in on Bad Monkey. So there you go. It's an Apple TV project. So if you have an Apple TV account, I say give Bad Monkey a try.
Quick recap. You said Alien Romulus recommended for people who like this kind of thing. Skincare, you said yes to that movie. Jackpot, you said it's fun but not the best. And The Union, you said it's not terrible but not memorable.
Right.
You're in as I am for Emily in Paris, and you're liking Bad Monkey.
So far. And again, those movies were reviewed in descending order of quality, I think.
All right. Michael Snyder, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for coming on the Mark Thompson Show and giving us all the good skinny on what's going on with entertainment. And I'll see you next week.
That sounds good. And for our fellow Giants fans, Giants take on the A's over in Oakland Coliseum. It's the last dance with the so-called Oakland A's. I will be rooting for my Giants to take both games, but my heart goes out to the Oakland fans who will be losing their team first to, of all places, Sacramento in a minor league park, and then purportedly Las Vegas. But that said, we'll see you next week, Kim.
All right. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye, Michael Snyder.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
You too.